Okay, so our topic for today is about joint probability of discrete random variables. So far, what we have discussed are probabilities of random variables, pero isa-isang random variable lamang. So this time, we're going to discuss more than one random variable for each specific problem. So, sabi dito, by definition, in general daw, if x and y are two random variables, the probability distribution that defines their simultaneous behavior is called a joint probability distribution. So, for example, in the development of a new receiver for the transmission of digital information, each received bit is rated as acceptable, suspect, or unacceptable, depending on the quality of the received signal, with probabilities of 0.9, 0.08, and 0.02 respectively. Assume that the ratings of each bit are independent. So, what we're going to do first is to analyze our problem. Okay? So, in our problem, meron daw tayong digital information that is being transmitted. Okay? Then, the transmitted digital information, of course, it is in the series of bits, and each bit minimeasure yung signal strength niya. So, there are bits that are rated as acceptable, suspect, or unacceptable. So, maybe there's a range of volts para sabihin siya acceptable. A little less than that is a suspect. And less than the suspect standard value is the unacceptable. So here, each of the bit daw has a probability of 0.9 to be acceptable, so 0.08 to be suspect, and 0.02 to be unacceptable bit. So, assuming na bawat bit is independent of each other, ibig sabihin po nun, yung first bit whether it is acceptable, unacceptable, or suspect, it won't affect the probability that the second bit, whether it is acceptable, suspect, or unacceptable, and the rest of the bits following. Now, if we have the first 4 bits transmitted, we denote X as the number of acceptable bits, Y it denotes the number of suspect bits. So here we have two random variables, X and Y. So X for the acceptable bits and Y for the number of suspect bits. So maybe we're now no longer interested on the number of unacceptable bits kasi hindi na natin yun magagamit sa communication. Ibig sabihin corrupted na yon. So we are concerned here on the number of acceptable and suspect bits. So, since ito ay independent and ang dalawa lang naman siya, yung bawat bit ay pwede nating i-consider. For example, we are considering the random variable x. So, iisipin natin kung siya ba ay acceptable or not. So, pagka acceptable or not lang siya, so that is failure and success lamang. So, papatak siya sa binomial. Ganon din naman si y. Each bit, we will determine whether the bit is suspect or not. So, papatak rin siya na binomial. Ngayon, yung ating n ay equal sa 4 kasi sinabi dito na first 4 bits lang ang titingnan natin. And then, the probability of success natin, denoted here as P, would be 0.9 daw for X. So, sinabi naman doon sa given problem natin. So, 0.9 ang probability of success. And, syempre, ang probability of failure nun is 0.1. Saan galing yun? So, total probability is 1 minus 0.9. So, that is 0.1. For y naman, given dito, yun yung sa suspect bits, yung probability ng suspect bits. So, ibig sabihin ay ang kanyang probability ay 0.08. Probability ng success. Tapos, ang failure naman niya is, of course, 1 minus 0.08, which is 0.92. Now, because only 4 bits are being rated, the possible values of x and y are restricted to the points shown in this graph. Okay? So, makikita natin dito na although bawat bit is independent of each other, but the number of x or the value of x, random variable x, actually affects the value of y. No, bakit? Kasi meron lamang tayong 4 bits. So, let's say for example, for x, it can have a value of 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Of course, it cannot be 5. Kasi 4 bits lang ang ating transmit. So, but if our value of x is 0, then y can also be 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, ibig sabihin nun, kung 0 ang x, pwedeng 0 din ang y. So, kasi ang x is acceptable, ang y is suspect. Pareha silang 0. Posible ba yun? Yes. Kasi meron tayong another category, which is the unacceptable. So, possible na walang acceptable and suspect. So, yung apat, lalabas doon na yung apat ay lahat unacceptable. Now, if x changes to 1, again, pwede ring 0, 1, 2, and 3 na lamang ang y. Hindi na ngayon siya pwedeng maging 4. Bakit? Because we only have 4 bits transmitted, and one of those is already counted in x. That means acceptable na siya. So, ibig sabihin, maximum na lang na suspect bits natin ay 3. Pero pwede ring isa lang. So, pwedeng 1 ang x, 1 ang y. Ibig sabihin lang nun, isang acceptable at saka isang suspect. Okay? Isang acceptable, isang suspect. So, dalawa na yon. So, ano yung dalawa? Yun siguro yun ay unacceptable. Hindi siguro. Acceptable yon. So, kapag ka naman ang x natin ay 1, pwede ring maging 2 ang y. Kasi, isang acceptable, dalawang suspect. So, tatlo na yon. Ang isa, unacceptable. Pwede ring ang x ay 1, ang y mo ay 3. So, 1 and 3. So, ibig sabihin nun, wala nang unacceptable. So, ito yung possible values or combination values ng x and y natin. So, kapag 4 ang value ng x natin, ibig sabihin lahat yung apat na transmit na bits, lahat yun ay acceptable. Kaya wala nang 0 na ang value ni y. So, hindi na siya pwedeng magkaroon ng 1 kasi magiging 5 na yung total bits natin. Okay? So, for example daw, ito na-discuss ko na, if x is equal to 3 daw, y can only be 0 or 1. Okay? So, hindi siya pwedeng magkaroon pa ng mas mataas na value sa 1 kasi tatlo na yung x. So, if x is 2, pwedeng 0 ang y, pwedeng 1, pwedeng 2. Okay? Now, the question is, paano i-solve ang joint probability? So, ang basa natin dito is joint probability of x and y. So, unahin natin 4, 3, 0. Sabihin, joint probability that x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 0. So, if we set acceptable bits as A, suspect bits as S, and unacceptable as U, okay? So, ano yung combination na possible based dun sa ating value ng x and y? So, di ba yung x natin, number yun ng acceptable bits. So, tatlo yon. So, A tayo. Tapos, ang y natin, number of suspect bits. 0 naman yung value niya. So, kung 0 ang value ng y natin, meron tayong 3 sa x, ibig sabihin, merong isa tayong unacceptable. Therefore, for the x is equal to 3, y is equal to 0, yung ating probability would be the probability of U. Okay? So, kasi tatlong acceptable and 1 unacceptable. So, based dun sa problem, kanina, sinabi na ang probability daw na acceptable is 0.9. So, since tatlo yan, 0.9 times 0.9 times 0.9. At ang probability naman na unacceptable is unacceptable is 0.02. So, if we multiply them, the answer is 0.01458. Okay? Now, ayan ay para lamang kung ganito ang sequence. Pero pwede namang mauna yung unacceptable bago yung tatlo. Diba? O pwedeng isa acceptable, yung susunod ay unacceptable, tapos acceptable, acceptable. So, we need to count ano yung possible sequences. Ilan yung possible na sequences? Ito kasi probability lang na ito yung sequence ng bits na ma-receive. Pero kahit na maiba yung sequence niyan, tatlong acceptable at unacceptable pa rin yun. So, we need to count the total number of permutations ng ating bits na 3 acceptable bits and 1 unacceptable bit. So, how do we compute for that? Of course, we're going to use the principle of permutation na na-discuss na natin noon, which is, ang formula na gagamitin natin ay permutations of objects, some are alike. Yung merong magkakamuka. Kasi itong A, magkakamuka yan. So, kahit pagpalitin ko itong dalawang A na to, parehas pa rin yan. Ano? So, ibig sabihin, ang gagamitin natin ang formula ng permutations na may objects na magkakamuka. Ano yung formula natin doon? That is n factorial over r1 factorial, r2 factorial, r3 factorial, kung ilang klase man yung meron dun sa objects natin. Dito, dalawa lang. So, we only have two kind dito. Yung A lang at saka yung U. So, given the number of possible sequences of 3 A's and 1 U, we can solve by principle of permutations with identical objects. So, formula natin ay, sabi ko kanina, ay n factorial over r1 factorial, r2 factorial, and so on. Kung ilan mang categories, diba? So, we have 4, kasi 4 na bits yan, over tatlong A na magkakamuka, 3 factorial, so, tsaka 1 factorial. So, I hope na re-recall nyo pa itong formula na ito. Ano? So, ang ating number of possible sequences for having 3 acceptable bits and 1 unacceptable bit is 4. Then, we are just going to multiply. Ano? Our probability of xy, wherein x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 0, is the 0.01458 times 4 or 0.05832. So, yun yung value dito. 30 dito sa ating graph kanina. So, 3x, y is 0. So, the answer is 5.83 times 10 to the negative 2. So, kung paano nakuha yung iba, ganun din yung process. Ano? So, let's try another Example, so for x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 1 naman. So in that case, meron tayong tatlong acceptable and 1 suspect. So obviously, wala na tayong unacceptable. Therefore, ang ating ngayon ay AAAS. Ano? Yan. Okay? So, 0.9, 0.9, 0.9 pa rin, pero hindi na US na yung kasama natin at ang probability ng S ay 0.08. So, ang answer dyan, pag pinag-multiply natin, that is 0.05832. Then, after that, kukunin natin yung possible sequence ulit ng AAS. So, ganun pa rin yun. 4 pa rin ang N natin. And ang ating R1 is 3 and R2 is S. Kasi dalawang klase lang ulit siya. Napalitan lang actually kasi yung U ng S. So, again, that is 4 factorial over 3 factorial times 1 factorial is equal to 4. Then, pag multiplyin ulit natin siya, so, the answer is 0.2333. So, ito naman ay para sa 3,1. So, tingnan ulit natin yung ating graph kanina. So, 4, 3, 1. So, that is 0.2333. Okay? So, hindi ko na iisa-isahin lahat yan. Okay? O, ginawa pala yung sa 2 and 0. Sa 2 and 0 naman, sige, pag 2 and 0, so dalawang acceptable, walang suspect. So, ibig sabihin, dalawa ang unacceptable. So, ang atin ngayon ay 2 acceptable and 2 unacceptable. So, we have AA, UU. So, ang probability natin ngayon para ma-obtain yon would be probability of AAUU. So, that would be 0.9.9 and 0.02.02. So, that is 3.24 times 10 to the negative 4. And then, ika-count natin ang number of possible sequences. Ang N pa rin natin ay 4. Ang R1 na nga lang natin ay 2 na lang kasi dalawang A. Tapos, ang R2 ay 2 din kasi dalawang U. So, we have 4 factorial over 2 factorial times 2 factorial. And the answer is 6. And then again, we're just going to multiply them. The answer is 1.94 times 10 to the negative 3. So, check ulit natin for 20. That is for x is equal to 2 and y is 0. The answer is 1.94 times 10 to the negative 3. Okay? Now, if x and y are discrete random variables, the joint probability distribution of x and y is a description of the set points xy in the range of xy along with the probability of each point. Ano? So, pag daw sinabing joint probability distribution of x and y, so, yun daw yung nai-describe sa set of points natin, katulad ng nandun sa graph, ng xy na nandun sa range ng possible values ng x and y natin. So, the joint probability distribution of two random variables is referred to as the bivariate probability distribution or simply the bivariate distribution of the random variables. Now, what is marginal probability distribution? So, what we have discussed is the joint probability distribution. Now, what if we discuss what is marginal probability distribution? Sabi dito, if more than one random variable is defined in a random experiment, it is important to distinguish between the joint probability distribution of x and the probability distribution of each variable individually. Yun yung tinatawag natin na marginal probability distribution. Yun yung probability distribution ng bawat variable natin individually. Yan, the individual probability distribution of a random variable is referred to as its marginal probability distribution. In general, the marginal probability distribution of x can be determined daw from the joint probability distribution of x and other random variables. So kapag daw alam natin yung joint probability distribution of x and other random variables, pwede na rin nating makuha yung marginal probability distribution of x. So, papaano po yun? So, here, example, let's say the joint probability distribution of x and y, dun sa previous example natin, can be used to find the marginal probability distribution of x. So, for example, so for P of x is equal to 3, this is the marginal probability. That is simply equal daw sa, this is joint probability kasi probability of x equals to 3 and y is equal to 0. So, which is yung diniscuss natin kanina. Plus, the joint probability distribution naman ng x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 1. So, saan ang galing yon? So, naka-fix ang ating tinatanong ay yung marginal probability kapag ang x ay equal to 3. So, alam naman natin na kapag ang x ay equal to 3, ang y ay pwede lamang maging 0 or 1. Of course, hindi siya pwedeng maging negative, hindi rin siya pwedeng maging 2 or greater than 2 kasi lalampas na yung total bits natin sa 4. So, kaya 0 or 1 lang. So, ibig sabihin, yung palang marginal probability distribution is equal to the sum of the joint probability distribution of x with the different possible values of y. So, dito, pag yung kinompute natin kanina sa 3,0 is 0.0583 and sa 3,1 is 0.2333. So, this is now the marginal probability of x is equal to 3. Okay? So, let's check it with the binomial formula. Ito kasi property lang ito. Okay? Pwede mong makuha naman yung probability na ang x ay equal to 3 kung magko-concentrate ka lang sa x as a random variable. As binomial siya. Kasi nga, if you check the bits, kunwari susukatin mo yung voltahe niya, makikita mo kung siya ay acceptable or not acceptable. So, given naman kanina na ang probability ng ating bit to be acceptable is 0.9 at ang probability naman ng bit, syempre, na hindi maging acceptable is 1 minus 0.9. So, that is 0.1. So, pwede mo ngayon makuha yung probability ng x is equal to 3 using the binomial formula. So, I hope natatandaan pa rin natin yung formula na yon. For binomial distribution, that is NCR P raised to N times Q raised to N minus R. Okay? So, saan yung, ano yung N natin doon? Yung N natin doon, that is NCR N combination R, P raised to N times Q raised to N minus R. Yung N natin is yung total samples. So, ang samples natin dito pumapatak na 4 kasi yun yung bits na nire-recognize, check natin kung acceptable or not. Okay? So, 4 ang N natin, tapos kung ilang number of successes natin, that is 3. So, ang R natin ay 3. Then, ang P natin would be 0.9 at ang Q natin ay 0.1. Therefore, our probability, marginal probability of x is equal to 3. So that's 4C3 0.9 raised to raised to R. So that is 3. And then Q raised to N minus R, which is 1. So, pakikalcule nyo na lamang. Ang lalabas dyan ay 0.2916 din. So, parehas lang. Ito, gamit yung binomial formula na alam na natin kasi ito namang problem na to ay papatak na binomial probability lang kung ang i-consider lang natin ay isang variable lamang. Pero if we're going to consider the joint probability, kung meron naman tayong joint probability distribution, pwedeng hindi na natin to gamitin. So, kukunin na lang natin yung total nung nandoon sa ating joint probability distribution. Kasi, if we have the joint probability distribution here, naghang na yata, ayan. So, ang mayayari lang kasi, kung meron na tayo nung joint probability distribution, yung graph natin kanina, ito, i-add na lang natin yan eh. So, for x is equal to 3, ito i-add lang. Okay? For x is equal to 4, edi ito lang siya. If x is equal to 2, i-add lang yan. If x is equal to 1, i-add yun. No, pwede rin namang marginal probability ng y. So, dito naman siya. So, pag ganito naman ang addition natin. Pa ganyan. Pa horizontal. Okay, so, pwede na natin yung makuha yung marginal probability kung meron tayong joint probability distribution. Kung wala naman, edi we use the binomial probability. Okay? Then next we have is the conditional probability. Okay? So when two random variables are defined in a random experiment, knowledge of one can change the probabilities that we associate with the values of the other. So katulad nga nung sinabi natin kanina, pag ang x ay 3, ang y ay pwede na lang maging 0 or 1. Hindi na siya pwedeng maging 2. Okay? So, from the previous example, because only 4 bits are transmitted, if x is equal to 4, then y must be equal to 0. No other values for y here. So, now, kung natatandaan nyo pa, yung formula naman natin ng conditional probability is the probability of B given A is equal to the probability of A intersection B over the probability of A. Okay, so that is the conditional probability formula that we have discussed before. But we use that for single events lamang. Ngayon, this definition can be applied with the event A where we defined to be x is equal to x and event B defined to be y is equal to y. So, yung x, ito yung variable na inassign natin yung capital. Yung small, lowercase letters, yun yung actual values niya na inassign. Okay? So, for example daw, on the previous example, x and y denote the number of acceptable and suspect bits received, respectively. So, yung matira, pag na-minus natin yung value ng x and y, sa 4, kung may matira, yun yung unacceptable bits natin. Now, if we have p is equal to y, if ito ay probability, kasi ito may ganyan, di ba? Ang pagkakaiba nun ha, ito, ayan, ito. Ito, ang basa dito ay joint probability, comma yung nasa pagitan niya. Pagka naman, itong conditional probability, parang meron tayong vertical bar dito. Okay? So, BA, here, ibig sabihin, sabi natin, yung A daw, yun yung X. Yung B, yun yung Y. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, papalitan natin yung B ng Y at yung A ng X. So, equal sa probability ng intersection ni A and B, A intersection B over probability ni A. So that is probably intersection X, Y, and probability ni X. No? So, ito yun. Okay? So, dito, kung babasahin natin dito, the conditional probability or the probability that Y is equal to 0 if X is equal to 3. No? So, that would be the probability muna ng intersection ni A and B. So, ibig sabihin yung intersection, yun yung probability na, joint probability na ang X is equal to 0 and Y is equal to 3. Okay? Over yung marginal probability naman ng X is equal to 3. Okay? So, yung intersection natin kanina, okay? So, yung probability of A intersection B, that would be, yan yung probability na A at the same time B. Diba? So, ito, probability na ang X ay equal to 0, I mean Y is equal to 0 and X is equal to 3. So, yung intersection natin dito ay joint probability. Okay? So, sana nakukuha nyo ako. So, ito, na-solve na natin kanina, yung joint probability na ang X is equal to 0 and Y is equal to 3 is 0.05832. At ang probability naman na ang X ay equal to 3 ay 0.2916. Okay? So, pag kinumpute natin, ang value natin dyan ay 0.2. Okay? So, ito naman, conditional probability naman siya na ang Y natin ay 1 at ang X natin ay 3. So, hanapin natin is the joint probability of X is equal to, it should be X is equal to 3, Y is equal to 1, nagkabaliktad na, over probability na X is equal to 3. So, ito na-compute na rin natin kanina, yung 13 is 0.233 yata yun. Yan, tama. And then, again, the marginal probability is 0.2916 or 0.8. Okay, so yun yung conditional probability that is simply equal to the joint probability of the two given events over the marginal probability of the first event. Ang first event natin dito is yung X equals 3. Kasi ito kung babasahin natin ay probability ng Y ay 0 given X is equal to 3. Okay? So, yan. Because if X is equal to 3, Y can only be 0 or 1. Ano? So, dito, kapag daw ang X natin ay equal sa 3, ang Y natin pwede lang mag-0 o kaya ay mag-1. So, ibig sabihin, kung kukunin natin yung total probability nilang dalawa, ang magiging sagot natin is 1. Ano? Kasi, nakuha na natin yung dalawang posibleng mangyari na kapag ang X ay equal sa 3, ang Y can only be 0 or 1. So, kung ang probability, kapag ang X is equal to 3, ang probability na ang Y ay mag-0 is 0.2, pwedeng hindi na natin to solve ng ganitong formula kapag ang hinahanap ay Y is equal to 1, given na ang X is equal to 3, pwede na nating i-minus yon, yung parang law of total probability yon. Okay? Next example. For example, if probability that Y is equal to Y, given that X is equal to 2. Oh, if X is equal to 2, maraming posibleng value ang Y. Pag X is equal to 2, pwedeng walang Y, 0. Pwedeng 1, pwede ring 2, pero hindi na pwedeng 3. So, tatlo yung possible value ni y, kaya y lang nilagay dito. But first, since ang formula na gagamitin natin dito is ng conditional probability is the joint probability over the marginal probability, kunin muna natin ang marginal probability na ang x is equal to 2. So, para masanay tayo, gamitin na lang, kasi kunwari, wala tayong value wala tayong joint probability distribution, apply na lang natin si binomial probability. Okay? So, again, our n is 4. Then, number of success is 2. Probability of success is 0.9 raised to number of success, 2 times 0.1 raised to number of failures, which is 2. So, pag kinompute, yung answer daw is 0.0486. So, that's the marginal probability that x is equal to 2. So, kukumputin natin ay tatlo. Probability na y is 0 muna tayo mag-umpisa. Okay, pwede rin natin i-check dito. I'm sorry, meron pala ako, kinopya ko pala dito yung graph. So, ito, pwedeng x is equal to 2, i-add nyo na lang to. Pag in-add nyo yan, magre-result yan sa 0.0486. Okay? Then, the y can either be 0, 1, or 2. So, we start with 0. So, for 0, yung joint probability distribution natin, for 2, 0 is 1.94 times 10 to the negative 3. So, kinonvert lang siya sa decimal. Negative 3, move natin yung decimal point pabalik ng 3 beses. So, kaya naging 0.00194 over our marginal probability. So, the answer is 0.04. Para naman po sa 1, pagka ang x natin ay 2, ang y natin ay 1. Okay, nauna yung 2 and 2. I'm sorry, 2 and 2. So, 2 and 2. Mali nga. 2 and 1 ito. I'm sorry ha. This should be 2 and 1. Okay? So, pag 2 and 1, so itong 0.0156, ito yon. Adjust natin. This should be 1. Okay? This should be 1. Kasi 1 ang y natin. Over yung marginal probability pa rin natin. Okay? Then, yung 2 and 2. Ito yung 2 and 2. So, para naman siya dito. Okay? So, pag in-add natin ito, yun pa rin. Ang total probability natin is 1. Okay? So, that is the conditional probability distribution using yung ating joint probability. Okay? Then, so, pag clean-up natin yun, ito yun, yung nakuha natin na 0.64, 0.32, and 0.04. So, ito yun. So, ang tawag naman natin dito is the conditional probability distribution. This one, ito is the joint probability distribution, and this one is the conditional probability distribution. Okay? So, now let's have the conditional mean and the conditional variance. So, conditional mean of y given x is equal to x. So, kapag meron tayong specific value ng x, ano daw yung magiging mean or average value ng y? So, that is mean, yung mu natin, that of y given x. Okay? So, that is simply summation daw ng y multiplied by the conditional probability that x is equal to x and y is equal to y. Okay? For the variance naman ng same condition, so magiging lang tong y squared. Yung y, naging lang siyang y squared, tapos minus u squared times y given x. If x is equal to x. Ano? Example, for the random variables in the previous example, the conditional mean of y given x is 2 is, so ang hinahanap natin ay conditional mean ng y given na ang x daw natin ay equal sa 2. So kapag ang x ay equal sa 2, ano yung mean or average value ng y? So we're going to use our formula, this one. So we need to solve first for the conditional probability of y is equal to y given x is equal to x. Ano? So that is given x is equal to 2. Ano yung probability na y is equal to y? Okay? So, ang kukunin natin, yan, pinalitan lang natin dito si x ng 2. Okay? Kasi y given x is 2. Okay? So, yung ano natin ay 3. Di nga? Pagka ang x natin ay 2, 3 yung possible values ni y. Ano? That is 0, 1, and 2. And based dun sa kinompute nating conditional probability kanina, for x is equal to 2, ito yun. Ano yung 0.04, 0.32, and 0.64. Okay? Yan. So, minultiply lang natin for y is 0. So, yung conditional probability ng y is 0 given x is equal to 2 is 0.04. Then, if y is 1, then the probability that y is equal to 1 given x is equal to 2 plus yung 2 times the probability that y is equal to 2 given x is equal to 2. So, i-multiply each and then add. So, that is 1.6. Okay? Then, ang next natin is the variance. So, ganun lang ulit. Kaya lang may square lang natin yung y dito. Tapos, eto. Okay? So, eto ay kopya lang. Ito pala, kopya lang yung ating mu dito. Ano? So, yung y natin, again, summation kasi yun. So, 0 square times 0.04. Yan, 0 square times 0.04. That's 1 square times 0.32 and 2 square times 0.64. Ito rin yun, no? Na-square lang sa variance. Tapos, ima-minus mo siya sa mean ng y given na ang x ay 2, i-square mo. So, kokopyahin mo lang ito, tapos i-square. So, the answer is 0.32. Okay? So, yan na po yung conditional mean and conditional variance. Okay? So, next natin is the independence. Okay? So, dito, in some random experiments daw, knowledge of the values of x does not change any of the probabilities associated with the values for y. So, may mga cases daw tayo na yung value ng y is not affected by the value of x. Yung kanina na diniscuss natin, yung value ng y natin is being affected by the value of x. So this time, we will consider those experiments wherein the value of y will not be affected by the value of x. So, ang tawag natin dun ay independence. So, for example daw, in a plastic molding operation, each part is classified as to whether it conforms to color and length specification. So, dalawa yung tinitingnan natin dito. Kanina kasi dun sa problem natin, dalawa yung random variable natin. Pero, strength ng signal lang yung basis natin kung siya ay papasok sa x or y. Dito, dalawa yung ating random variable, pero yung isa ay para sa color at yung isa ay para sa length specifications. So, define the random variable x and y as, for x, if 1 yung value daw niya kapag yung part natin ay nag-conform sa color specification. Then 0 naman kapag hindi. So, yung y naman, if the part conforms to length specification, at 0 naman kapag hindi. So, papatak ulit siya na binomial, di ba? For each random variable. Pero dito, independent na si x and y. So, pwedeng nagko-conform siya sa color pero hindi sa length. Pwede rin namang hindi siya nagko-conform sa color, hindi rin siya nagko-conform sa length. So, independent silang dalawa. So, in that case, ito yung magiging kanyang probability distribution. Okay? So, ito, yung 0.01 tsaka 0.99, ito yung marginal probability ni x. Okay? Ito namang 0.02 and 0.98, ito naman yung marginal probability ni y. Itong 0.002, ito yung joint probability na ang x ay 0 and y is 0. Ito namang 0.0198, yun naman yung joint probability na ang x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 0. Ito naman joint probability ng x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 2 rin. Okay? So, yan. Joint probability distribution and marginal probability distribution of variables x and y. Note that in this distribution, so let's have some observation here. The joint probability daw ng xy ay nag-i-equal daw sa marginal probability ni x multiplied by the marginal probability ni y. So, let's say for example, yung joint probability na 2-2. Okay? So, titingnan mo ngayon yung marginal probability ng x is equal to 2, that is 0.99, and the marginal probability of y is equal to 2, which is 0.98. So, pag pinag-multiply daw natin yan, please pakipindot sa calculators ninyo. So, 0.98 times 0.99. Ang lalabas dyan ay 0.9702. Eh, ano ba yung nagay ko dito? Ito pala ang ginamit ko ay yung 0 and 1. Okay, pag 0 and 1, sa x is equal to 0, y is equal to 1. So, ito yon. Ito yung titingnan natin. Okay? So, for x is equal to 0, ang marginal niya is 0.01. Imumultiply mo sa point. I'm sorry. Typographical error again. This is 0, 0. Okay, 0, 0. So, 0.01 and 0.02. The answer is 0.002. Okay? Yung probability na 2-2, yun yung pinapagawa ko sa inyo kanina. Yun yung 0.98 tsaka 0.99. So, that's 0.9702. Okay? So, that's an observation or we can see a property. Okay? That if two variables are independent, two random variables are independent, their joint probability is equal to the product of their marginal probabilities. Yun yung gusto nating i-point out dito. Okay? So, ang conditional probability, diba, ito yung kanina nating conditional probability, yung joint probability ni xy over the marginal probability ni x. So, kung alam naman natin na ito ay equal lang sa marginal probability ni x tsaka product ng marginal probability ni x and y, so mangyayari doon, magka-cancel yung probability ni x, mag-i-equal na lang siya sa probability ni y. Okay? So dito, yung y is equal to 0 and x is equal to 0, yung joint probability niya is 0.002. Tapos yung niya ay 0.01. So as you can see, ang sagot dito is 0.02, which is the marginal probability ni y. Kasi if we're actually going to apply yung natin dito sa conditional probability, yan, ito, sorry. Ito, yan. Ayan, ito na. Yan, ito, diba? Yung conditional probability, equal yun sa joint over the marginal. Pero pag sinabi natin, yung independent variable pala natin, yung joint niya, equal lamang sa product ng dalawang marginal. That is only for independent events. Okay? So, mayayari, ito, yan. So, yung joint probability ni xy, equal daw yun sa probability ni x times the probability ni y. So, kung isa-substitute natin yung dito, magka-cancel yung x. Kaya magiging marginal probability na lang siya ni y. So, which is kita nga natin siya dito. Okay, another example is kapag y 10. Okay? Baliktad na. Sorry. O tama, 0, 1. 0 ang x, y is 1. 0 ang x, y is 1. Ito yun. So, 0.0098 siya. I-divide natin sa 0.01 kasi ito yung ating if, first condition. So, 0.01. So, pag pinag-divide, ang answer 0.98, which is actually the marginal probability when y is equal to 1. Hopefully, nagigets nyo ako. So, ganun din dito. 1 naman ang x. Probability naman na y ay 0 given na ang x ay 1. So, nangyayari, titingnan natin sa 1, 0. Ito yon, yung 0.0198. Tapos, divided by the marginal na x is 1, that is 0.99. Ang answer niyan, yung marginal ni y is equal to 0, 0.02. Okay? Then, for 1, 1. For 1, 1 naman, so, 1, 1. Ito, 0.9702 divided by sa x is equal to 1, so 0.99. Ang answer yung sa y na 0.98. Okay? Yan. Conditional probability distribution of variables x and y. Note that in this conditional probability distribution, the probability of y is not affected whether x is 0 or 1. And the probability of x is not affected whether y is 0 or 1. Bakit? Kasi pag 0 ang x, ang y pwedeng 0, pwedeng 1. Pag x ay equal sa 1, ang y pwede pa rin maging 0, pwede rin maging 1. So, hindi nagbabago yung possible values ng y pag nag-iiba yung value ng x. Yun yung gusto nyo sabihin dito. So, therefore, we can say that variables x and y are independent variables. And the joint probability of two independent variables is simply equal to the product of their marginal probability. Note also that the probability distributions of variables x and y forms a rectangle. Yung distribution natin dito rectangular na siya. So, unlike nung sa kanina na dependent event, so parang nagiging triangular siya. Okay? So, if the probability distribution of random variable x and y did not form a rectangle, means that they are not independent events. Okay, let's have an example problem for independence. So, in a large shipment of parts, 1% of the parts do not conform to specifications. The supplier inspects a random sample of 30 parts, and the random variable x denotes the number of parts in the sample that do not conform to specifications. The purchaser inspects another random sample of 20 parts, and the random variable y denotes the number of parts in this sample that do not conform to specifications. The question is, what is the probability that x is less than or equal to 1 and y is less than or equal to 1? So we are asked on the joint probability that x is less than or equal to 1 and y is less than or equal to 1. So, paano ba, i-analyze muna natin yung problem. So, meron daw tayong malaking shipment ng mga parts na na-produce. So, hindi nasabi kung gaano kadami yun, but it is described as large shipment, so marami. Okay? Kung saan, 1% daw ng parts na ating isi-ship is hindi nagko-conform sa specification. So, 99% nagko-conform siya. Now, the supplier, as part of the quality assurance nila, before they do the shipping, bago nila i-ship, ay nagra-random sample muna sila ng 30 parts. Tapos, inaalam nila, dun sa 30 parts na yon ilan ang hindi magko-conform. At yun ang i-denote nila as X. Okay, then isi-ship na nila yon. Then, pagdating ngayon sa tawag dito, customer nila, sa client nila, si client naman, as part din ng quality assurance nila, magsasample din sila. Pero 20 parts na lang daw yung sinasample at ninonote ulit nila kung meron silang mabibilang na part na hindi nagko-conform. Ano? So, sabi dito, ano daw yung probability na ang x is less than or equal to 1 at ang y is less than or equal to 1. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung possibility or probability na nung mag-check si supplier, ang nakikita niya lang na non-conforming parts is less than or equal to 1. Tapos nung i-ship na yung same shipment dun sa ating supplier at nag-test sila, less than or equal to 1 din lamang yung number of non-conformable parts nila. Okay? Now, let's note here na although samples are typically selected without replacement, if the shipment is large relative to the sample sizes being used, approximate probabilities can be computed by assuming the sampling is with replacement. Kasi saan ba yung importance ng without replacement and with replacement? So, alam naman natin na kapag yung random experiment natin is with replacement, so kada meron tayong kukuning sample, kung ano yung characteristic niya, i-replace natin siya with another sample of the same characteristic. So, wherein sa normal practice, syempre kapag si supplier ay nag-random sampling ng kanyang 30 parts, kuha lang siya, kuha ng parts. At kada kuha niya, itetest niya, kuha ulit, test, hanggang maka-30 siyang testing. Hindi niya yun pinapalitan. So, hindi talaga without replacement yung atin. Okay? Kaya lang pag without replacement, hindi talaga siya with replacement pala. Siya ay without replacement. Kaya lang pag without replacement, alam natin yun ay dependent events. Pero sinasabi dito na kapag daw ang shipment is large relative to the sample size, So, kapag masyadong madami yung total number of parts natin, tapos magsasample lang tayo ng konti. So, here, we have only 30 at saka 20 as the sample size. Pwede na daw natin na i-approximate na parang with replacement yon. So, kapag with replacement, i-assume natin na ang X and Y are independent. Okay? Pero yun ay kapag large lang yung shipment relative to the sample size. So, let's say, dito kung 100 parts lang, ay hindi po natin pwedeng i-consider na independent yun. Dito kasi hindi nakalagay kung ilan, pero sinabi naman na large siya. So, safe that we consider X and Y as independent variables. So, ang nahanap natin is the joint probability that X is less than or equal to 1 and Y is less than or equal to 1. Based dun sa formula natin, so sa solution natin, yung joint probability of independent events is equal to the product of the marginal probabilities of the two events. Diba? So, ibig sabihin, yung probability na X is less than or equal to 1 and Y is less than or equal to 1 is equal to the marginal probability that X is less than or equal to 1 and Y is less than or equal to 1. Ay, so ito yung ating magiging formula. Saan po ito galing? Dito lang siya galing. So, yung X is less than or equal to 1 and Y is less than or equal to 1. Yun yung sinabi sa ating problem. Okay, so kailangan muna nating makuha yung marginal probability ng X is less than or equal to 1 and Y is less than or equal to 1. So, doon muna tayo sa X is less than or equal to 1. Pero, alam natin ito, itetest lang siya kung conforming or not conforming. So, conforming or not conforming, so, ibig sabihin yun ay binomial lamang. Pag binomial, it's just success or failure. So, gagamitin na naman nating formula dyan is yung NCR, P raised to X, and Q raised to N minus X. O kung ano mang variable yung ano natin. Basta, total number of samples, combination ng number of success multiplied by the probability ng success times the number of raised to the number of success multiplied by the probability ng failure raised to total number of samples minus total number of successes. Dapat medyo makabisan nyo yun. Yung binomial distribution natin. Okay? So, for less than or equal to 1, take note ha, yung X natin, hindi specific yung value niya. It is less than or equal to 1. So, ano yung possible values pag less than or equal to 1? So, pag pwedeng ang X ay 0 kasi ay less than 1. It can't be negative, of course. Susunod sa 0 is 1. So, pwede kasi less than or equal to 1 nga siya. Pero hindi na pwedeng 2. So, dalawa lang. So, pwedeng X is equal to 0 or X is equal to 1. Okay? So, X is equal to 0 plus X is equal to 1. Bakit plus? Kasi or. Pwedeng 0 or 1. So, kung natatandaan nyo noon, na-discuss natin yan, pagka or, i-add yung probability. Okay? So, alamin muna natin na anong probability na ang X ay equal to 0. So, apply na natin yung binomial natin. Okay? So, ang N natin, ang samples natin na kinukuha ay 30, combination 0. So, dito, ay aalamin natin kung hindi siya nag-conform. Kasi ang X is the number of parts that did not conform. Okay? So, ang probability ng success natin dito is 0.01. Okay? So, raised to 0 times yung failure, galing lang yun sa 1 minus 0.01. Raised to 30, kasi 30 minus 0 supposedly yon. Okay? Yun ang para sa x is equal to 0. Sunod, para sa x is equal to 1 naman, di nga, isipin nyo, that should be 30 combination 1, papalitan lang natin yung 0 ng 1, 0.01 raised to 1, and 0.99 raised to 29. No? So, saan galing yung 29? Di 30 minus 1. Okay, then kakalkyuhin na lang to. Ito yung lalabas, kakalkyuhin din to. Ito yung lalabas, tapos i-add. Ito yung answer. So, that is the marginal probability that x is less than or equal to 1. So, para pa lang yan dito. Paano pag yung dito? Okay, so y is less than or equal to 1 naman natin. So, pwedeng 0 ang y, pwede ring 1. So, katulad kanina. But this time, si y kasi is yung number of parts na hindi nag-conform dun sa client. So, ibig sabihin na hindi dun sa client, ang number of samples lang na ginagamit nila dun ay 20. So, 20 C0 lang tayo. Okay? 0.01 raised to 0 pa rin, 0.99 raised to 20. Okay? Plus 20Z1 naman, 0.01 raised to 1 and 0.99 raised to 19. So, the answer is 0.8179. I think para dito yon, and then para dito naman ay ito, then add. Okay, so that's the probability of y is less than or equal to 1. So, alam na natin ang marginal probability ng x is less than or equal to 1 and the marginal probability na y is less than or equal to 1. The next thing to do is kukunin na natin yung joint probability that x is less than or equal to 1 and y is less than or equal to 1 by multiplying the marginal probabilities. Okay, so ito yung formula ulit natin for joint probability of independent events. So, kung multiplyin lang natin siya, then the answer is 0.9476. Okay, and then the multinomial distribution naman. So, so far, yung pinag-aralan natin ay joint probability ng dalawang variables lang. Ay paano pag maraming variables? So, kaya tinawag siyang multinomial distribution. So, in some cases, more than 2 variables are defined in a random experiment and the concepts presented of 2 random variables can be easily extended. So, example daw, dun pa rin sa digital communication system natin kanina, instead na acceptable, unacceptable, at saka suspect bits, meron na tayong 4 classifications. Excellent, good, fair, and poor. Yan na. In a digital communication system of the 20 bits received, what is the probability that 14 are excellent, 3 are good, 2 are fair, and 1 is poor? So, katulad kanina, di ba, yung una natin ay tatlong acceptable at saka walang suspect. Diba, AAAU yun? O, dito naman, pwede nating sabihin na 14 na E, 3 G, 2 F, and 1 P. Okay? So, yung probability ng ating events dito, so yung E for excellent, G for good, F for pair, and P for poor, ito yung probabilities nila. 0.6 daw for excellent, 0.3 for good, 0.08 for fair, and 0.02 for poor. Okay? So, ang hinahanap natin ay yung probability nito. 14E, 3G, 2F, and 1P. kukunin natin yung probability niyan. Independent events yan. So, ang isang sequence ng 20 events na yon na 14, so 14 na E, 3 G, 2 F, at 1 P. Okay? So, 14 na, ano yung probability ni E? 0.6. Tapos, 3 G. 3.3, 2.08, at 1.02. Okay, so 0.6 raised to 14, probability ni G, 0.3 raised to 3, sa F naman is 0.08 square, kasi dalawang F, and lastly 0.02 raised to 1. So, ito yung probability niya. For one sequence lang yan. So, patulad dun sa kanina, na dalawa lamang variable natin, kukunin natin ngayon ang possible number sequence. Yung gagamitin natin yung number of permutations with identical objects. Yun yung n factorial over r1 factorial times r2 factorial and so on. Kung ilan yung types na magkakamukha. So, dito ang n natin ay 20. So, number of permutations natin. Yan. Natin na yung formula pala. Okay. Then, substitute tayo. So, n is 20. For R1, yung sa E, 14. For R2, yung sa G, 3. For R3, yung F, 2. At for R4, yung P, which is 1. So, the answer is 2,325,600. Those are the number of permutations or sequence ng 20 bits na ganito ang dami ng E, G, F, and P. So, para makuha natin yung joint probability distribution nilang variables na 4, i-multiply lang natin ito. So, therefore, for probability of 14 is 3 G's, 2 F's, and 1 P is yung ating probability na ito, i-multiply lang natin sa number of permutations. The answer is 6.2984 times 10 to the negative 3. Okay, so that's the multinomial distribution. So, in general, ang rule natin, suppose a random experiment consists of a series of n trials. If we are going to assume that the result of each trial is classified into k classes. So, dun sa kanina natin, 4 na klase yun. Yung E, F, G, and P. Okay? The probability of a trial generating a result in class 1, class 2, up to class K is constant over the trials. So, yung probability natin kanina, kunwari for E is 0.9, for G is 0.9 ba nga? 0.9, sorry, 0.6 pala. Yung 0.9 dun sa kanina. So, 0.6 for E, 0.3 for G, and 0.08 for F, and 0.02 for P. So, yun daw ay constant kahit paulit-ulit mong ginagawa. So, that's a characteristic of a binomial experiment, di ba? And the trials are independent. So, ibig sabihin, kada isang bit na itetest mo is independent of each other. So, kapag daw ganon, the random variables x1, x2, up to xk denote the number of trials that results in class 1, class 2, up to class k, respectively, have a multinomial distribution. At ang kanyang joint probability function is, ito yan, for x1 is equal to x, x2 is equal to x2. Yung kanina natin ay, ang x1 natin is E, equal to 14. Ang x2 natin ay G, which is equal to 3. Tumaba ako. Yun, Ang x3 natin ay F, which is equal to 2. And x4 natin is P which is equal to 1. So, ito yung formula natin. So, yung pinag-multiply lang naman, di ba? So, based dito, ginawa lang natin siyang general. So, ito yun, at saka ito. So, ito yung general natin. N factorial over, ito yung number of identical times the probability ng bawat class. Raised to kung ilang ang magkakamukha or belongs to that class. This is a general. Okay? So, for example, from the previous problem pa rin, let's say we are asked to find the probability that 12 of the bits received are E, 6 are G, 2 are F, and 0 P. So, ang gagawin lang natin ay define natin. So, yung formula natin for multinomial distribution. Then, yung N natin doon ay 20 bits. Di ba 20 bits yung tinatransmit natin? Then, ang ating X1 would be kung excellent, X2 sa good, X3 sa F, and yung X4 natin yung sa poor. Tapos yung values naman ng X1, X2, X3, X4, for E is 12, for G is 6, for F is 2, and for P 0. So, para makapag-substitute tayo, yung P1, P2, Pk naman, yun yung probabilities natin kanina na 0.6, 0.3, 0.08, and 0.02. O, substitute lang natin dun sa ating formula. Probability that E is 12, G is 6, F is 2, and P is equal to 0 is equal to, So, N factorial. So, that's 20 factorial over 12 factorial, 6 factorial, 2 factorial, 0 factorial, tapos ito, sa isa 0.6 raised to 12, then 0.3 raised to 6, then 0.8 raised to 2, and 0.02 raised to 0. The answer is 0.0358. So that is the probability that of the 20 bits, 12 of those bits are excellent, 6 are good, 2 are fair, and 0 is poor or is. Anyway. Then, for the mean and variance of random variable in a multinomial distribution, so ito do yung formula natin. Kasi binomial din siya. So, kahit pa maraming variables yan, they are still independent events na pwedeng success or failure lang. So, gagayanin lang natin is yung formula rin ng sa binomial experiment. Ito yung mean ng sa binomial. Kaya lang, edi, aalahin mo yung specific x mo. Kasi marami kang variables. Ito naman for the variance. So, for example, di ba yung xi kasi x1, x2, x3, x4. So, for example, so we are interested to find the mean and variance of the number of excellent, good, fair, and poor bits from the 20 bits transmitted. So, para dun sa excellent, so we have n is 20. So, probability na excellent is 0.6. So, ang mean niya is 12. Okay? Tapos, yung magiging variance naman niya, ito yung formula, ay di 20 times 0.6 times 1 minus 0.6. So, that's 0.4, di ba? 4.8 naman yung variance. Take note, that's the variance. So, pagka that should be square. I'm sorry. Kasi variance to. So, kapag ka tinake mo yung square root, yun pa yung standard deviation, di ba? So, ito yung para sa good. Okay? So, substitute lang naman tayo sa formula dyan. Pag sa fair, edi magiging lang tong 0.02. Okay? 0.08 pala. Ayan. Tapos, para naman sa poor, so 0.02 naman siya. So, dito, 1 minus 0.02. Okay? So, that was the mean and variance of random variable in a multinomial distribution. And that's it for the joint probability of discrete random variable. So, yung next natin na topic would be the joint probability for continuous random variables. Thank you. Hopefully, may tutunan kayo.